Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Are you ready to survive No More Room in Hell 2 together? If you enjoy the adventure, don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right, welcome back to the channel. We have a update for No More Room in Hell 2. The reinforcement update came out today on Tuesday, November 26th, and a little earlier than I expected personally, but we have a lot of patch notes to go through. I don't think you guys are interested in me in reading through every word by word, but I think what we're going to do is just pick out some highlights and go through this. So, one of the big updates that I was personally looking forward to was the alternate endings to the power plant. I've already played a game trying to get this alternate ending. I'm not exactly sure how to trigger it, when it triggers. So they say in this variation, the sequence in the control room is shortened, but players will have to venture across a larger area of the power plant itself, which includes the stacker reclaimer, ash farm, and cooling tower. This means the ending is less about holding out against the increasing pressure from zombies pouring into the control room and more about traversing the dangerous and treacherous environment of the entire power plant. They also talk about future updates. They're already working on more variations to start and end the power plant mission. Later on in the post, they did actually go into more detail and said that this will happen in approximately one third of the matches. I am definitely be playing several games trying to get this alternate ending later on today. They talk about the new weapons they introduced, the M1911 and the M7 assault rifle. I got to use the assault rifle a tiny bit. I think coupled with some of the limited ammo, it felt like it wasn't really the most ideal weapon, but it is definitely a fun and welcome change. The M7A1, which I felt was just called the M7 in game, but maybe I'm misremembering. It has a magazine capacity of 20 bullets. It's using the light rifle ammo. I didn't find an M1911 myself quite yet, but it has a smaller magazine capacity of 7 bullets using pistol ammo. They go on to talk about the balancing overhaul. Zombies no longer have more HP in higher difficulty modes. Instead, the higher difficulty modes make loot and ammo much more rare, and the frequency of runners and the red eye stronger zombies increase more significantly. I mentioned that I played a game already. I was in a difficulty 3 game, which is pretty mid tier, not the most difficult. I think I noticed the health difference. The scarcity of ammo felt more prevalent in the late game. Early game, it almost felt like I was getting more ammo at first. They mentioned making it to nightmare difficulty will now be a really tough challenge that we hope you are up for. I'm kind of looking forward to trying it on nightmare and seeing what these tweaks really do as they bump up the difficulty. Next up, they talk about the HUD changes. We now have the ability to dive into our settings and to turn off different elements of the HUD to kind of give yourself a different immersive experience. These are all optional. They're diving more into the HUD details. They're giving players full control over the visibility of each HUD element. Example of HUD elements are player names, objective markers, health and stamina bars, extraction UI. Do you see the helicopter in which direction? Reloading and status check, communications UI, notifications, and interaction UI. And even though you can change these individually, you also have some preset options to get you started. And the last major point they talk about is just that there were a lot of bugs across all parts of the game that were fixed. They introduced a few new skills. Staying alive, time for reviving a team member is decreased by 25%. If with the regular perk, bumping up to 50% faster if you have the ultimate version of it. They added a third, I believe, shotgun perk. Damage fall off is reduced for shotguns by 30%, up to 50% with the ultimate version of it. That perk being called Icarus. And they added another responder skill, Grenadier. traps and throwables stack +1, +2 with the pro version. Um, so they mentioned traps. I don't know that I've seen traps in the game yet. I don't know if we're about to read further and find out that traps have also been added. Maybe they're on the to-do list. The fire extinguishers now add a new hazard for us as we're exploring the zombie apocalypse. They'll obscure a vision if they're shot. So just make sure you're not doing that. I'm going to look for some fire extinguishers in one of my future games. They did mention some improved hit reactions. I definitely feel like I saw in general some improved hit reactions. It felt like a small percentage of the time it was not working correctly. I at one point just hit a zombie in the face, and it just seemed like he was completely unfazed by it. He was a red eye. Maybe he was unfazed by it. Maybe that was intentional. It felt more like a bug and not a feature at that particular fight, though. Other than that, it did feel a little more natural. They mentioned an inventory auto sort. I didn't notice it. I was also super light on inventory. I don't know whether I didn't search around enough or whether that scarcity of loot is really taking effect. Couple balance changes in regards to fall damage so that responders don't die unexpectedly. And I definitely noticed that responders will call out more of their actions for other responders, such as working on the objectives. I would put in a fuse and my character would announce out putting in the fuse, or I'm doing this wiring, or I'm balancing this, or whatever. I heard a couple points where they were saying that. Oh, I actually didn't notice until right now, but responders will also no longer spawn with a revived syringe. A couple appearance bug fixes. I didn't really notice any of those. I thought that maybe some zombies were wearing new shirts. Maybe instead they were stretching in different ways and they looked like new shirts. Responders can now unmute other responders. I suppose that's a good thing, but usually if I had to mute somebody, there was a good reason, and I'm not really looking to give them a second chance. They made some general comms adjustments, which basically push to talk will no longer have a delay and other fixes like that. Proximity should also not distort and clip when playing. The input volume should now work correctly. Lots of individual bug fixes here. Feel free to pause and read them as you wish. Too many to go through. The environmental bug fixes seem like bigger fixes. There was a few places that you used to be able to get stuck in and you were just trapped. Though some of those were cleaned up. They fixed a bug where the stash room doors could be kind of barricaded from the inside or outside, which was something you couldn't really get out of with your melee weapons. You kind of had to drop a pipe bomb on them. That would work, but they fixed that. The propane tanks no longer flicker in and out when you move them. You can use your guns if you really want to waste your ammo on the power sources outside of the bar. They fixed that invisible fire at the train yard entrance. It looks like they put out the fire and they didn't add the visuals for it. They put it out, so that's a good one. I kept getting caught by that one. They fixed up the power plant HQ doors not opening after completing objectives. I was lucky enough to dodge that one. Windows can now be barricaded. I'm not a big fan of barricading myself. I feel like it traps me more than it traps the zombies. But we have the option to get windows now. They fixed an issue where sometimes poison gas would be invisible at the train station, and they fixed numerous clippings and texture fixes, or loot would be inside of other things being inaccessible, textures being distorted or broken under certain lighting. They call this a gameplay fix, but they fixed the flashlight being reattached to the responder's hand. I definitely had that where the flashlight seems to be in my chin or something. Not sure that's a gameplay fix, but I'm glad to see it. They fixed responders being unable to sprint after taking damage when changing batteries. I don't think I've noticed that, but I feel like I've gotten stuck with my weapon zoomed in and not being able to sprint. Hopefully they changed that. On the server and client side, they had a fix for stuttering that occurred after responders were in a match for 40 minutes. I feel like if I got to 40-minute mark, the game just crashed and I never really made it out. There was kind of like just a point where the game was too long and it became more difficult for the server to maintain itself and get out. So maybe that is related to that. They also mentioned that responders should no longer lose their character on client crash, which is great, and approximately 22 fixes for some uncommon server and client crashes. I'm not going to go over all the UI and UX changes, but I will try to let you pause the video so that you can see them. In regards to the zombies, down zombies will no longer get back up and skip an animation. I feel like that happened a lot with like ripping the legs off of zombies. They would kind of temporarily just jump right back up and then fall back down again. I'm guessing that's what that was. Zombies should no longer pop into existence in front of the responder. I hope that's true. I really hated clearing a room and then just 2 seconds later having a zombie at my back. Zombies now apply damage properly when grabbing responders. I have been grabbed. I didn't notice the damage yet. I'm going to have to look out for that one closer. They fixed the dreaded invulnerable zombie glitch. Runner head gore should now appear correctly. I think that's when their brains were just floating outside of their head as just separate entities. So hopefully that's gone. I don't remember seeing any brains floating out there in my game. Zombies can't just bolt through some environmental assets. They respond on time to explosions, which is nice. I know I've thrown explosions and just been kind of shocked nothing happened, and then 2 seconds later, it did work. Yay! Zombies don't slide on their bellies anymore. Runners won't get stuck at the rooftop entrance at the HQ control room. I feel like they already didn't get stuck, but maybe they just have even easier access to get through. Some other things that I didn't see mentioned in the notes here was just that I think like there's just been some design changes. The roof on top of the control room, for instance, is the fences are in different places, and just visually things are different all around the control room. Let's watch this No More Room in Hell 2 montage about the reinforcement update.
Responders, reinforcements are on their way. Across Berks County, we've been working hard on a great deal of bug fixes and huge quality of life improvements, with a major focus on hit reactions. You can now expect more authentic impacts to the undead. 2 new weapons have been introduced to help you in your fight. The M7A1 assault rifle and the M1911A1 pistol. Both pack a mean, skull-shattering punch. Custom UI options are a new feature in the menu. Turn on or off specific on-screen settings to cater to your preferred playstyle. We've resolved a bug that made crawlers unkillable. Now they can take damage. Swing away. Propane tanks now behave as originally intended. Across the county, you can now pick up, place down, and shoot them. These will come in handy. As always, stay safe, responders. Help is on the way.
All in all, I'm definitely looking forward to a less buggy experience. We'll see exactly how less buggy that is, but it felt pretty good coming back to it after a week or two off. I was really looking forward to getting a alternate power plant ending in my one game that I jumped into before reading these patch notes with you guys. It seems like 1 out of 3 games will be having it, so I'm going to get back out there and look for that alternate ending. And honestly, just a more difficult experience is definitely a good thing as we get up there in those levels. I personally think that difficulty should be an option and not just something assigned at a higher level. If somebody wants to play a more casual game, I'm all for them playing a more casual game. On the other hand, I'd like to start level 1 on Nightmare. All right, I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone for watching. Let me know what you think of the reinforcement update in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Thanks again.